New project car. Just waiting for it to get towed. New project car is coming down the road. It's kind of tricky to get in here, so I told the guy to reverse. I didn't know he had thought he was having a flatbed. This guy's reversing the whole thing down the road. And scraping the shit out the bumper, so that's good. All right, there's the new car on the lot. It's a 2006 Mercedes SLK280 hardtop convertible. Got the 3-liter V6. Doesn't run. Got some front bumper damage. Looks like this headlight needs to be adjusted. It's looking a little funky. It's missing one of these hood grills. I already kind of cleaned underneath here because that's where the battery is, and there's a drainage thing there, and it rains a lot here, so I didn't want that thing to start flooding, so I already cleaned that out. Love the color. It's light blue, kind of metallic. It's in pretty good shape body-wise, besides that front bumper damage. Leather seats. Just love the smell of Mercedes interior. It smells kind of like crayons, but I think it smells good. So yeah, just got dropped off today. I'm going to clean it out because I guess this was a repossessed car, so there's still some like stuff in the trunk and in the center console, so I might put that stuff on Facebook and see if the person who owned this car wants that stuff back. If not, just try to sell it. But yeah, so it doesn't run. I asked the guy I bought it from, found it on Craigslist, $1,200 actually, pretty good deal. I saw the paperwork for the lady who bought it. The paperwork was still in there from the dealer. I guess she had just bought it in February and then stopped making payments, so it got repossessed and was at a tow yard. So I saw it on Craigslist and went there and offered the guy $1,200, and he took it. So, but I asked him what the story was, and he says it was running when he got it, and then he went to start it one day, wouldn't start, plugged in his scan tool, said the crank sensor was having a fault, so he replaced that with one from AutoZone, and still wouldn't start. So I just ordered one off eBay, a genuine Mercedes crank sensor, so I'm gonna see if that fixes it. Fingers crossed. I hope it's that easy. Then I ordered that grill for the hood up there on the passenger side. But yeah, right now I'm just gonna clean it out and see what's up. All right, well, the trunk's locked and the battery's dead. But what's cool about these Mercedes key fobs, which I like, is there's a little key in there. So I just gotta slide that, pull out the key, then I can manually unlock the trunk. All right, I put the little key in there, unlocked it, then the trunk opened, and here's just the stuff that's left behind. So I'm just gonna kind of take all this stuff out, go through it, see if there's anything worth saving. If not, just throw it all in the trash, but just kind of get the car cleaned up so I can get it ready to sell to the next person. All right, I got the covers off for the battery. I checked it with my multimeter. It's at 10.5, so I'm gonna take it off here, put it on the battery charger, and then try to start the car, because sometimes these things can just not start if the battery's low. And then I cleaned out that drain vent right there. It was all clogged. There was a bunch of leaves in here. Probably gonna clean out those ones because it looks like that's a drainage as well. The last thing I want in my rainy environment is for stuff to start getting water on it, on all the electronics. So I'm gonna clean out all the drain pipes. But first, take the battery out and get it charging. All right, I got the battery charging. I fixed the passenger headlight. It was literally just not screwed down to its mounting point on the top. But right now I'm just gonna try to polish up these headlights a little bit. I have a kit that I can use my drill, but they're not that bad, so I'm just gonna use some 3000 sandpaper and then some polishing compound and see what that does. If that doesn't shine them up, then I'll get the drill out and do the full kind of kit with the 500 sandpaper, then the 1500 and 3000, and then the polisher. I mean, look at that. 5 minutes of just hand sanding with the 3000 and then some polishing compound on a pad. I only did the passenger side, but you can kind of tell it's a little bit more clear. Looks way better. So I'm gonna do that driver's side. All right, I'm inside the car. Got my scan tool set up. I'm trying to check to see if I'm getting any RPM reading from this crank sensor. So I finally found the page on my Autel, and I'm looking at here engine speed. It says 0 right now, RPM. So I'm gonna crank the engine. If it doesn't change, then I know that crank sensor is bad. So let's see what happens. All right, that crank sensor is definitely not responding, so I'm definitely going to change that. But the reason I came in here was because I hooked my battery up, and it did kind of have low voltage, and only 11.2, which sucks. So I might need to get a new battery. Even after charging it for a few hours, it still stayed that way. But when I hooked the jump starter up onto it, when I turned the key into the on position, the radiator fan came on full blast. And I guess that happens as a little safety measure. And I guess when that happens, the ECU isn't getting a signal or something like that, so that the radiator fan turns on full blast to kind of protect the engine from overheating. Because basically, if the ECU isn't given a signal, that could cause engine problems, so the fan turns on full blast. So I wanted to see if the crank sensor was indeed bad, and it does look like it actually is, but now there might be more or other stuff I can check. So I'm going to go under the hood and check one of those, I guess it's called the SAM, like holds all the fuses and the relays and stuff. So I'm going to look into that right now. All right, my new crank sensor's coming tomorrow in the mail. So I'm getting the old one out. It's just down here on the bell housing. I already disconnected the plug because I guess these people put a new plug in because they said the other one broke off. The little plastic tab here broke on the old one, so they wired in a new one, which could be the issue as well, but I'm gonna just put the new Mercedes crank sensor in first with that wiring job, and then see what happens after that. I'm trying to get a shot of the sensor. There it is right there. So it's got a T30 Torx bit, and I've already cracked it loose, so I'm just gonna unscrew it by hand, pull the old one out, and see what it looks like. All right, well, I got the crank sensor out of its hole. Just waiting for that new one to come, like I said. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna vacuum up all this junk here and put some leather rejuvenator on the seats, make them look a little better. And I'm gonna vacuum out this and maybe even give them a scrub with the scrub brush and just try to get this thing cleaned up, looking as good as possible for resale. So let's get to cleaning. All right, I got the battery fully charged. I had it charging for about 3 or 4 hours on 10 amps, and it came back to life, so it's good. I'm gonna go put that in the car, put the crank sensor in, see what happens. All right, here's the old sensor, just the one from AutoZone. Here's the new one I just got in the mail. Genuine Mercedes one. They look exactly the same, but let's hope that fixing it out for the genuine Mercedes one actually gets it to start. And then got my little grill piece for the hood. So I'm gonna go put these in, put the crank sensor in, and fingers crossed, gets a start up. All right, here comes the moment of truth. Got the new battery in, got the grill in, got the new crank sensor in. It's installed down there. Got my key. Let's see if it fires up with that new sensor in. I hope so. Okay. Keys in. I did not hear the brake pump come on. It's not good news, so, but let's see. All right. More issues than I thought, I guess. So, might be that fuse box SAM unit might have got some water in it based on this side, the drain down there in the window track being flooded with leaves. So I'm gonna have to take that thing apart and see what it looks like. All right, so still no start. Crank but no start after I put that new Mercedes crank sensor in, charged the battery fully. So now I'm going into here at this control unit, which I guess it all comes out, and there's a little module in there. So I'm just taking everything apart. I'm gonna get that out, open up the cover, inspect it, and see what it looks like. All right, success, got it out. Man, there's a lot of connectors. All that wiring, I see why now. When people sell them on eBay, they're all just got connectors still attached and the wires are just cut, because it took about 10 minutes just to disconnect all those. But if you got a little pick tool, got some strong fingers to squeeze the tabs and pull it out, it'll all come out. So let's take this into the shop, crack this back off of there, see what the circuit board looks like. All right, this is my final test at fixing this car. I got a new SAM control unit off eBay. It came from California. Just plugged in all the plugins on the bottom. I took a picture of my old one, so I made sure everything goes in good, and so that's easier to find. It is kind of tight in there, and you don't want to really pull on the wires to break them, but got my battery charged up. Hoping this runs now. Otherwise, I don't know where to look on this thing next. So let's see what happens. All right, key on, position 2. Hopefully the fan doesn't come on, because that's what it was doing last time. The fan was just running on full blast. It's not coming on right away. I didn't hear the fuel pump prime, but let's crank it over and see what happens. No dice still. Lovely. And after chasing my tail, car is running. And it sounds buttery smooth like I thought it should. The final culprit was this puppy. So I disconnected the wires off that, took the control unit out, broke open the seal, which you got to heat up the silicone around the ECU, get a screwdriver, pry it open. I took a little toothbrush and cleaned off the motherboard because it looked like it had some corrosion on it. Plugged it all back in, cleared the codes, and it fired right up. I am so happy. I thought it was this crank sensor down here that the first person tried. I got a brand new one. I thought it was this control box in here. I got a new one of those because when I tried ripping apart my old one, I basically messed it all up. The fan was turning on full blast, so I tried checking all these sensors by disconnecting them one by one to see if those had a short in them. Fan was still turning on. So I just thought it was the ECU, took that thing apart, cleaned it out, fired right up, baby. Yes! Well, the success was short-lived. I took it out on the road, it died once. I popped the hood, unplugged the ECU connector, blew on it a little bit, plugged it back in. Luckily it fired up, and then coming down this road it died again. So I think there's definitely something wrong on the inside of that. I'm gonna take it apart again and get a toothbrush and some alcohol and clean everything again really good, and then see if it makes it a while. I don't know, I might just have to send that ECU into a service and have them repair it and fix everything on it. But I'm gonna see if I can get it back in the driveway here by unplugging that thing again, plugging it back in, and see what happens. Okay, I'm back in the shop. I'm gonna take apart the ECU again because car ran after I cleaned it the first time, started right up, and then drove it about a mile and the car just died on me. And luckily I was able to just unplug the connector, blow on it a little bit like an old Nintendo, plug it back in, and then it fired up again. But it's just intermittent, and I don't know why they'd put these on top of the motor. Like right now it's piping hot after just driving it for 10 minutes. So I don't think these things are supposed to get hot, so I don't know why they would do that in their design, but who knows. So I already took it apart the first time. All you gotta do is take out these bolts, and then there's some silicone, which is like a super glue. So you have to heat up around this little ridge here around the whole thing. I would just start a little bit at a time, maybe one corner. You get a little screwdriver in there and you start prying on it. You should use a heat gun. I just use this very quickly, back and forth on the things, not getting in the middle, just on the outside edge to heat up that silicone. Pry on it and then it'll pop open. So let me get that open again. We'll look inside, and I think I'm going to take a toothbrush this time. This is what I did last time. I just took a toothbrush and cleaned everything pretty good. But this time I'm going to put some alcohol on it, clean the spots that look a little corroded, plug it back in, maybe drive it again, see if it doesn't shut off. If not, I think I'm just going to have to send this in to an ECU repair person and see if they can fix some soldering joints or check it out for me. All right, there's the inside of my ECU. I don't know if maybe these things are supposed to be like a lighter color. Maybe they got really hot. Like these ones are kind of bare. But before I was noticing just little kind of brown crud on the outside of these things. Kind of see there. But yeah, I'm going to take the toothbrush again because that seemed to work last time. That's actually got the car running for me, just cleaning this little motherboard off. So I'm going to try it again, clean it better, see if that helps it again. Well, check it out, it's running. I ended up finding out that this puppy might be bad. I disconnected these, took the whole thing out, opened it up, took a toothbrush and cleaned all the contacts on the motherboard, plugged it back in, and the car finally fired up for me. But once it gets warm, it just shuts off and dies. So I think something is still wrong inside the engine computer. So I'm going to send it out to a repair person and they can check it out and look at all the soldering joints on it, and maybe something's wrong on the inside. But I'm so happy that it at least started running for me for a little bit, because I was starting to have doubts of what it could be, because I was just doing voltmeter tests on all the wires, unplugging stuff, plugging stuff back in, and it wasn't working. So finally today when it fired up, I got real excited. Took it out for a drive with Brittany, and then it died on the road. But luckily all I did was unplug this main sensor here, or the main connector, unplug it, plug it back in, and then the car fired up again. So luckily we didn't get stranded and have to get our minivan to tow us back. So I'm just gonna let the car run until it dies again, just to make sure that that's the issue. But I'm pretty sure that that ECU needs to be sent out, and I need to replace that, which is probably like another 200 or 300 bucks. All right, this is super weird. I just plugged the ECU back in my scan tool because I ordered an ECU repair and I needed to get the trouble codes. And so I plugged my scan tool back in. Couldn't find any codes this time. I let it idle in the driveway over there for 10 minutes. It never died. So I took it out for a drive for 10 minutes, and the car's just running absolutely perfect, and it's not dying now. So I don't know what to do. I might just let it sit overnight, try it again tomorrow, see if it dies again or the fan comes on when I turn the key to position 2. But it's just an intermittent kind of thing, and I don't know what is going on with this car right now, but I think I'm just gonna keep driving it until it dies again so I can get those codes so I can send out the ECU. But if it doesn't die again, then maybe the problem fixed itself. I don't know.